integrated life. Number 2, I think that's everything I want to say on integrated life. So number 2 is sprint to a bad first draft. So again, this is more business advice, but really this is about who you are as a person. So what I mean by sprint to a bad first draft is, for whatever reason, there's a lot of reasons why, but a lot of business owners, myself included, whether it's you get paralyzed by analysis, so some people call it paralysis by analysis, you're not willing to go towards make action steps. And then some people are the opposite. They're ready, fire, aim, right? So they're just walking, right? But they're trying to walk towards a final draft. And so this is a moniker I use in my company all the time, which is I sprint to a bad first draft. Because I can tell you this, in business and in life, it is so much easier to take something that sucks and say why it sucks and give 10 ideas of how to make it better than it is to stare at a blank board and go, what do we write down? Right? And so it's one of the things I do, so I have 2 main software companies that I run, and 4 hours a week I have in my calendar set up for strategic problem solving. It's one of my roles and responsibilities for both companies. And so what I say to the companies is this: you go try to solve a problem, and when you beat your head against the wall and you talk to your team and you can't figure it out, go talk to Alexia and she'll put you on my calendar during that strategic problem solving, and we're going to get in a room and we're going to solve it. So what I realized is I don't have hours. And sometimes it's R&D about an email marketing company, or sometimes it's sales for why martial artists don't like us because we're not martial artists. Whatever it is, right? It's we got to figure out these complex problems. And so when I first started this routine, I was scared of looking bad in front of my employees. Sometimes these are people I don't deal with on a day-to-day basis. They're coming to me, they expect me to have, I'm putting expectations on my shoulders of, well, I should come and just have, spit wisdom out. Right? It's that's not me. I'm a normal person. I make mistakes, and it takes me a long time to come up with solutions sometimes. So now what I do is they come, they sit in my office, I have a big gloss whiteboard, and as soon as they start talking, I'm writing. And I'm writing, I have this question. What about this idea? No, that idea is stupid. I answered myself. As soon as I wrote it down, I'm already nope, that's not it. Right? But what we do is in the first 5 minutes, our goal is to have the whiteboard filled with every question and every idea that we can think of. And then we look at it and go, cool, which one of those are moronic? Which one of those for sure wouldn't work? Or which one of those should we explore more? And so what it does is it lets you take a first draft to a final draft. And that process is so much easier. And one reason why a lot of people don't do this is they're scared to look foolish. What I can tell you is if you're trying to go here in business, you got to be a master. And you can't be a master until you're a fool. Everyone sucks when they start. If you want an example of this, if you play an instrument or you play a sport, try doing it with your opposite hand. If you want me to look ridiculous, ask me to throw a baseball with my left hand. I've done this for example. Sometimes it's I can throw a baseball pretty good, but my left hand, I don't know how. I would look foolish because I'm starting all the way over. That's how a lot of us are. And what happens is, at some point, whether it's at 18 years old, when you graduate high school, maybe you go to college, maybe at 40, you shrink back and go, this is who I am for the rest of my life. This is the shell that I'm putting on because I'm not willing to step out in the light and be seen as foolish. Right? And I learned a lesson when I was in high school on this part. So this isn't but I was the cool guy who was in band. Right? That was what I thought, right? So I played trumpet, I was band captain, I was always first chair. But I was I'm making band cool, right? I'm gonna be on student council, I'm gonna do this. And I was just, I was 18. I tell people all the time, it's horses when they're born and their legs are too long for their body, so they learn to run. That's how I learned tact, right? I was 18, I thought I knew everything. It's like a horse running with these big long legs and they don't have the body to support it. So I'm walking around and I was always pretty talented at trumpet, and there's this big solo for one of the shows, and it's gonna be awesome. And it was hard. It was a pretty advanced piece. And there was this girl who I'd known forever, and she wasn't trying to be the cool band person. She was just trying to be the band person. She was always number 2 to me, and I would always, it was high school, I would kind of pick on her. So one day in class, after class, and we're all hanging out, and she's trying the solo, and she's squeaking and squalling and messing up, and we're in high school, so we're laughing, it's not rudely, we were friends, but kind of picking at her, just you allow people to pick on you in your life with your business. And that did something to me. That told me, I got to get in my shell. I can't let these people see me practice this. I'll figure it out. I'll wing it. So then guess what happens? She got the spotlight. She got the solo, and she got all the attention. She was the cool person in the band. Because she was willing to be a fool so she could master it. I wasn't. And I remember the shame I had watching her play my solo on the field and said, never again will I let these morons who had no chance of getting the solo ever stand in the way of me getting the solo, right? And that's a lot of times how we act. So that's why you want to run to a first bad draft, and you want to think through that. We call it, at 97, we call them Houston Hurricanes. So they get categories 1 through 5. And it's how crazy my first draft is, because I am a verbal processor. So sometimes I'll walk by a meeting and hear something and step in and be like, have you thought about blah, 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 blah? And they're like, oh, that's a cat 3. Like, calm down. We're not here yet. Let's go back. So you want to make sure that you're sprinting to a bad first draft. And then the final piece of advice is be clear on what you want. And that sounds pretty simple, to be clear on what you want. But if I told you that, almost everyone I know that wants something gets it. It's a little counterintuitive. It's like, of course, that's not how life works. You don't want something and you get it. It's like, actually, that's what I believe. If you want something, you'll get it. But a lot of people say they want things, and they have no expectation to sacrifice what's needed to get what they want. So they don't really want it. Right? I have people out in my circle who I'm doing 75 hard with my wife right now. It's really hard, that's why they name it that. So it's a bunch of workouts, no alcohol, a bunch of reading, just like a discipline thing for 75 days. And I have a lot of people who are like, man, I would love to be in shape. I need to lose some weight. I need to be able to walk up the stairs and not be gassed. I just don't have time. I'm like, bro, wake up at 6. What are you doing from 6 to 8? You're sleeping. You don't want to actually do that. You just like to jabber with your mouth. And what I gotta say is, and especially in this niche, I'm tired of this. That's why I come in here to things where it's like you're sacrificing some money, you're sacrificing some time to get out of your comfort zone. That's why I don't do free webinars. I don't take on coaching clients, but I don't do free webinars because there's a lot of this. It's a lot of excuses. It's a lot of, well, I want this. It's like, okay, cool. Never take a day off for the next 2 years. I'm not doing that. All right, you don't want it then. At least call it for what it is. I tell all my employees all the time, I want you to choose how much money to make this year. What I mean by that is I want you to say how much money you want to make, and then I want you to weigh the sacrifices of what it takes for you to make that much money, and then I want you to find where that misaligns, right? Where you don't want to work 24/7, maybe you have a family, or you have kids, and then go, cool, I could make $150,000, but I weighed the cost and I don't want that. I want to make $120,000. Then guess what? When you make $120,000 or $125,000 because you go a little over, you're in control. You don't make $125,000 because that's all you can make. You make $125,000 because you know who you are and that's what you're choosing to make, and you could make more and you know how. You're just not willing to make the sacrifice for your family to do it. It could be $60,000. It could be $30,000. It's not about the amount of money. It's about the power in knowing what you want and knowing how to know and identify what you want and what it's going to take to go get after it. And why I know this to be true is a human emotion is we know what we want and how to get it. Is I can ask every single person in this room, I've never met someone who can't do this, where you think about where you want to be in 1 year from now or 5 years from now, or what type of person you want to be. And I say, cool, what's one thing that you're doing right now that is stupid, that is stopping you from being that? Right now, everybody's like, oh yeah, I do this. Oh, I'm not picking on diet or anything, but it's I drink soda. It's why? What is one reason anyone can give me that you would ever drink a soda? I'm not saying that you should stop drinking sodas. I'm just saying you should be in control of yourself and your body and go, why am I choosing to drink a sugary drink that doesn't make me feel good? It's not healthy. I can't imagine a reason why you would ever drink a soda, unless maybe a little, bourbon on the island with it or something like that. We can go with that. But you know what I'm saying? You got to start thinking, what do I want? And what are stupid things I'm doing that get in the way? And then call it for what it is, where it's I don't want to be financially disciplined. That means I can't go to Starbucks every day. At least call it for what it is. Then you're empowered. At least it's I could be debt-free, but I don't want to be debt-free. Because if I wanted to be debt-free, that would mean that I have to not go out with my friends. I would have to pull back my lifestyle. I'd have to act broker than I am. I don't want that. Okay, fair enough. At least you're being honest. But so many people, I want to be debt-free, but they don't want to do anything about it. It's call it for what it is, because it's not you just live your life miserable, and what you end up doing is you end up having a victim mindset of, well, I want this, and it's not my fault, it's someone else's fault. It's COVID's fault, it's my location's fault, it's the parents' fault. right? It's like, cool, congratulations. What are you going to do? Just go be miserable in the corner. If you're doing everything perfect and you want all things good and nothing works out for you, there's nothing anyone can teach you. Just go be miserable by yourself and let the people who are trying to improve. Right? It's something that everyone needs to hear all the time is you're not as good as you could be, and you have to know that. And man, what great news that is. Because if your business isn't where you want it to be, and you can say, and I'm not as good as I could be and I know it, now you have something to do to move your business in the right direction. But a lot of people are like, I'm fine. My teaching style is fine. My business acumen is fine. It's my marketing company's fault. It's the pandemic. It's the location. It's the bus broke down, whatever. It's like, you can't live your life like that if you're going to try to go from here to here. Right? And we're only interested in talking to people that go from here to here. So again, this isn't applicable to everyone. This is applicable to people who are at a place and they want to go somewhere where almost no one makes. It's like, cool, I can tell you the path how to get there. And then you choose if you want to come down it or not. But I can tell you this, and I'm not knocking any information to bring at seminars because I talk more about websites and marketing than I talk about this stuff at martial arts schools, at martial arts shows specifically. But I can tell you this, there is no magic formula. There's no magic marketing company. I spoke at Market Muscle's event. That's our biggest competitor in February. A lot of people here are Market Muscle's clients. They're great. 97 is great. Website Dojo is great. Chris Rodriguez is great. Our Everflow ads team is great. Like, there's no magic thing that's going to do it. It's on your shoulders. Like, if you want to be a different business, there is no business maker out in the martial arts industry that's going to make it happen for you. It's all on you. So you got to figure out where you're lacking, where you want to go, and just adopt Nike's slogan and just do it. Right? And that's kind of the last thing. And then we can maybe get some ahas or questions that I'll talk about, which is Nike's slogan, just do it. So what I want you to understand is there's no secret to living an integrated life. There's no secret to always doing a first draft. I still hate looking stupid when I come up with a bad idea. I still hate waking up every morning. The difference is successful people make habits of things unsuccessful people won't do. And they don't want to do them either. Like, that's the truth. And I'm not on a health kick usually, but I'm just doing this challenge right now, so it's at the forefront of my brain. I was with a friend last night. He's my successful friend. He's my age. He lives on a $2 million house on Lake Murray in Columbia, South Carolina. He's like, I look at him like, dude, you're just so talented. You're so smart. You work so hard. Like, I want to be around you more, so I went and stayed at his house last night. He's one of one friend that I could think of where I'm like, hey, I got to leave at 6 in the morning to speak, and I got to get a workout in. And it's got to be outside. Do you want to wake up at 4:45 and come work out with me? Out of beat. Yeah, of course. Let's do it. Guess what? I talked to him. I called him when we were driving back. He's like, hey, man, thanks so much for working. I was like, I got to tell you, man, I didn't fall asleep till midnight. And then my son came to our bedroom last night at like 4 in the morning, and I got like 3.5 hours of sleep last night. I was beat this morning. And it's like, I'm thinking he ran an Ironman. I'm thinking, oh, he likes working out. He likes getting up at 4 and working out. Then I called him. He's like, dude, I didn't have the energy. I'm glad that you were there, because if you would have said the word, I would have skipped out. Right? He didn't want to do it any more than I did. So it's like two people who are doing something they both don't want to do together because it's the right thing to do. And it's because we're like surrounding ourselves with people who make us better, because you're the average of the 5 people that you hang out with. Right? And so part of living an integrated life is going to cause you to drop people in your life. So when you're looking at dropping people in your life or bringing people in your life, there's one last thing that I'll leave with you, and then we'll see if there's any questions, and then I'll get off stage. And it's an acronym, Point FAR. I didn't say it was a good acronym, but it's an acronym. PTFAR. So the P stands for programming. So programming are the subconscious things that you allow to be said about yourself or you say about yourself. They're I am statements, right? And so Carl Jung, who is a philosopher, said, if you don't pull your unconscious self to the conscious world, you'll spend your whole life being guided by it and call it fate. So it's very important to understand what are the things that you're saying about yourself. It's very important to understand what are the things you're allowing to be said about yourself in the circles. So your programming leads to your thoughts. That's the next one, T. Your thoughts is when the unconscious bubbles up into consciousness. And now this is changing and shaping subconsciously the way that you're thinking about a certain thing or a certain subject or a certain job or a certain task. Your thoughts affect your feelings, it's the F. Your feelings affect your actions. Your actions affect your results. And then your results positively or negatively affirm or the opposite of affirm your programming. And I see this all the time with businesses that shut down or people that leave my company. They have bad programming. They say, maybe I can't do this. Maybe I'm not cut out for this. That comes into their thoughts. Like just all the time, they're just thinking like, every time something comes up, it's like, yeah, see, I wasn't trained enough. Yeah, see, this thing came up. Then they're starting to feel that affects their feelings. So they come into work and they're not the, hey guys, how are we doing? We're gonna have a great day today, whatever you say to your clients, right? They're like coming in, they're like saying the same things, doing the same actions, but their feelings are off. And then guess what happens? The results get worse. And those results affirm their programming, yep, you're not the right person. And this is the death spiral. And I can look at people sometimes and go, you gotta get your head like completely onto a different playing field or you're out in 6 months. And I look at employees, I call it the happy talk. It's like, I can tell when you're done. And so I have are you happy here? Like, can I help you transition out because you seem miserable? And I would rather transition you out than you be miserable around my staff for another 6 months before you quit yourself. Right, so let's figure it out one way or another. But people know when I ask, are you happy here? That's you're in the spiral and you're getting out one way or the other, or you're changing your whole mindset. So be careful who you allow in your life. Be careful allow what you live an integrated life. Be the same person always. Don't be ashamed. Own who you are. Run to a bad first draft. And what was the third one? Be clear. Yeah, be clear on what you want. That's my time. Thank you guys so much. If there's any questions, we have like 5 minutes. If not, we'll go.
Hello, Dojo Nation. Randy Reid here. Hey, today I want to talk a little bit about the upcoming event in Cozumel, Mexico. It's our yearly event, Cause Talks. It's considered one of the best events of the year. Everybody that's ever come here for the last, I guess this is number 8 or 9 we're doing, 8 or 9 years, always says it's the highlight of the year. Listen, here's why it's such a great event. There's several parts to this weekend that we do. Number one, we are supported by the absolute top martial arts and business operators in the world. They come down here with an open heart and a giving heart, and they're down here to share. And everyone, you won't find anybody that doesn't say they always come back with some fantastic information, some ways to improve their business. Number two, it's a celebration of the martial arts lifestyle. It's a bunch of great people. We try to keep the thing small, and we try to keep individuals that come down here that are the kind of people that are the givers of this world, not the takers. I'm pretty tight on that rule. So we end up with just fantastic people down here. And it is a celebration. Listen, February's coming. Where you're at's probably already getting colder. If you've got need a write-off, a business write-off, what a better way to get a 100% business tax write-off than to come down to beautiful, warm Cozumel, inexpensive island, and spend a few days. So I just want to tell you to start making your plans now. Here's the reason I'm pushing it right at this point. We're doing it in conjunction with the island's biggest party of the year. It's called Carnival. It's not as big as Rio, but it's big. And all the hotel rooms are going to fill up, and it's going to be a blast. We did this in years past. It is a fantastic time. So during the day, we're going to be learning martial arts. In the afternoon, we're going to be sharing time together, networking, talking about the things we learned from the speakers, talking with the speakers. Then at night, we're going to have the party of the year. So the hotel is on the website. Call up, get your reservations. Can I promise you the island will be sold out, and it is going to be a blast. So I'm really fortunate to be supported on this by these wonderful, wonderful speakers that come down each year. We're sponsored this year by, of course, Dojo Max, and we're going to have, of course, our other main sponsors. We'll put those on the website. But it's a great time. I just don't want you to to decide you want to come to it, and all of a sudden you find out all the hotels are filled up. The beach is a little rocky. You don't want to sleep down there. So Randy Reid here, just want to give a little announcement about Cause Talks. Get your butt down here. Nobody's ever been disappointed that they come. Not one time, nobody. So get your reservations, get your hotel room, get ready for a great, great time down here in warm Caribbean island of Cozumel. Randy Reid, over and out.